तिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। श्रीकृष्णचैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थे सुभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam.
Really meaning to come earlier, but I've just been running the last 2 days. So we're on our way now.
Yeah, this time.
Yeah, because trying to get there at during the daytime, for the getting some porters to take the stuff into the place. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice to see you.
Yeah. We'll keep in touch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll come one day.
Yeah, I hope so.
Go with God.
Yes.
In Germany, the song is also mit Gott.
With God.
With what?
Yes. With God.
Grüß Gott. Right? Grüß Gott. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, 12th chapter, beginning from verse number 44. And Sri Maitreya is continuing to explain how Lord Brahma created the universe. He explained how he created various suns and how the Vedas came out from his mouth, the various activities related with the Vedas, the limbs of the Dharma, and of course the 4 Upavedas, Itihasas, Puranas, and the ashramas, their respective duties. And this is what we studied yesterday, that there are 4 types of brahmacharis, 4 types of grihasthas, 4 types of vanaprastha and 4 types of sannyasis. and all of them seem impossible in this day and age because there are such strict rules. And only thing is that by reading this we can at least appreciate the type of culture which would have existed once upon a time in India, and how everybody was just devoted for spiritual life. Just like now everybody is after money, everything is economy, no matter what you are, where you are. The crux of the matter is euro or dollar.
Not so much dollars anymore, I think.
But now if you want to row in this world, then it is euro. Without euro, you will drown, you cannot row. So previously, these people, they never bothered about money. The wealth was, they had the word dhan, which means wealth, but their wealth was austerity. Just like now we say who is the richest person in the world. In those days they used to see who has the biggest austerity, then he was called tapodhan. He is rich in austerity, or jnanadhan. So this was the mark of their richness, wealth. And this wealth they carry with them. No Deutsche Bank needed, no big buildings. It's in them. Wherever they go, their wealth is with them. Nobody can steal it. It does not diminish. And they can give it to others and still they have it. And it's not heavy to carry. Just like this day you have your credit card, it's not very heavy. So this was their credit. And it carried to next life also. This wealth does not go with you when you die. It all remains here. If it is in Swiss bank, then it belongs to the bank. India has like 7 million billion rupees in one Swiss bank only. And they're not even trying to get it back. This is more than the budget of India, yearly budget. So this wealth is not wealth. Now he says that after this he created other types of knowledge. We read the Vedas, that Vedas came out, then Upavedas came out, and there was knowledge about duties. But besides this, there are also other types of knowledge which are philosophical knowledge, practical knowledge. So it says, Anvikshaki Traivarta Dandanitis Tathaiva Cha Evam Vyahrityaschasan Pranavo Hiyasya Daharata. There is knowledge called Anvikshaki. Anviksha means to introspect. Inter means inside, and spect means to see inside. Anviksha also has the same meaning. Iksha means to see, and anu means inside or within or after. So Anviksha is to deliberate, to meditate, to see. Anviksha has various types of fields in it. All this dharma, artha, kama, moksha, everything is part of Anviksha. Because religious principles and even making money, it was controlled by the religious principles. Not that you make money and then you drown in this. Chanakya Pandit, he wrote Arthashastra. Artha means wealth, means the Shastra related with economy. So he says that never make money in such a way that it will destroy your dharma. Because if you make money and your dharma is destroyed, then it is useless. After all, the purpose of money is to give you happiness. And you cannot get happiness if you are impious. Because impious nature will only give you trouble. problems. Why people are suffering now? They have wealth. A lot of people have a lot of wealth, but they are suffering. They are unhappy. And they don't even know why. But the reason is that they do not know the basic principle of life. That artha and kama, wealth and enjoyment, will always lead to misery if they are not guided by dharma and ultimately by moksha. So therefore anvikshiki here means all these four things together. Niti, diplomacy, how it has to be, how we have to live. So all that must be related with the ultimate purpose of life. Otherwise, no one can stop the suffering. No matter how you plan, how many welfare programs you have in the world, there are so many welfare societies, still people are suffering. So anvikshaki means limit, maryada. There has to be some limit how things have to be done. Not that you become crazy just for making money, or you become crazy just to enjoy your senses and then you suffer. So doing things without any limit, that will lead you to destruction ultimately. So this has happened to America. Why American economy has failed or failing? It is because they just went into consumerism. Consume unlimitedly. So after some time, you have to get the reaction of that. You polluted everything, and then reaction will come back to you. So therefore anvikshaki was created by Brahma, and it is especially to be followed by Brahmanas. So Brahmanas were people who were dedicated to knowledge. Their interest was not at all making money. Brahmana was not supposed to make money. If you read the duties of Brahmana even in Bhagavad Gita, then there is nothing prescribed there. Then they have to make money. Brahmanasya dehoyam nakshudra kamaya kalpate. That the body of a Brahmana is not meant for petty enjoyments. It is not designed for that. It's like you design cars. You have BMW, you have Mercedes, and you have Volkswagen, other cars. So there are different design. So Mercedes is not meant for all these broken roads in India. It's like going with the bullock cart speed. What is the use? So same way Brahmana's body is not designed to do all these useless things. Sitting on a tea shop and drinking tea and chatting and watching TV. That is not the purpose of a Brahmana's body. Brahmana's body means study Shastra, perform austerities, realize yourself and give knowledge to others. So this anvikshaki therefore was for such people. And when that is lost, then society becomes kaput. Complete failure. Because Brahmana is the head of the society. And if your head is not functioning properly, then the whole body is useless. If someone becomes mentally deranged, then even if that person is very beautiful, healthy, it has no meaning. because the mind is not functioning. So Brahmana is like that. Brahmana is the brain of the society, and if the brain is polluted, the mind is polluted, and the whole society becomes crazy. So therefore it was very necessary. Then next thing mentioned is Trayi. Trayi means three. It refers to the three Vedas, Rig, Yaju and Sam, because Atharva deals more with the what you call temporal topics. So to behave according to the Vedas, that is the meaning of Trayi, performing sacrifices, Purnimansa, studying that. Then Vritti, Varta. Varta means how to survive. You need food, cloth, place to live, at least these three things, basic needs. So how to acquire that? This was also given by Brahma, because people also lived before also. And mainly it was sacrifices. It's like now we have big industries, we produce things and we try to fulfill our desire through those objects. In the olden days they had the system of doing sacrifices and get things through the sacrifice. Sacrifice was a way that you fulfill your desires. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna also says that in the beginning, Purasrastvaya Purovacha Prajapati Anena Praswadbhumesha Vastuishta Kamadhuk. That in the beginning Prajapati, he created Yajna. So Yajna has both purposes, to satisfy your material needs and to worship the Lord. So he said that you do this Yajna, Puravacha, he said, Anena Praswadbhumesha, that with this you worship and it will be Kamaduk. It will supply your desires. So this was a system. Now we cannot believe in this system, that how is that by pouring something into the fire and chanting mantras I can get a motorcycle. But in those days they were doing like that. If they wanted, of course motorcycle was not there, but whatever things existed, if they wanted, then could do sacrifice and get it. So it was an amazing system. So Yajnadi Chavritti, Kshatriyana mein Samukhya Chavritti, this was primarily for Kshatriyas. Then of course there was Vaisyas, for them Krishi, Goraksha, Vanijyam, farming, cow protection. So you get all your food by doing farming, then you need milk so that you can make cheese for your bread, and butter and ghee for the sacrifice, and cow is needed, and this was the main for the Vaisyas. And then there was Dandaniti. So Dandaniti was, so Anvikshaki, Trayi, Varta, Dandaniti, Tathaicha. Anvikshaki was mainly for Brahmanas, Trayi was the Kshatriyas doing sacrifices, the kings were doing big sacrifices. And Varta, this was for the Vaisyas. And Dandaniti was for the Shudra, they have to be controlled. Dandaniti means discipline with the stick. So it was mainly applicable on them. So these were the four types of niti. And Anvikshaki, of course, mainly dealt with the Atma Vidya, all the philosophical systems. So this, then next he says is that evam vyahritayascha asan pranavo hi yasya dharata. Then from his mouth also came out the vyahritis. Now vyahritis are something technical, something to do with the sacrifices. So there are 4 vyahritis. This bhur, bhuva and swa. This is coming before the Gayatri. These are called vyahritis. So 3 of them and combined together is the 4th one. And then pranava. Pranava is the om sound. This om sound is the mystical sound, and it has the essence of the Vedas in it. It came out from the mouth of Brahma. Actually, here it says it came out from the heart.
I couldn't get what was before. This
Yahriti Om Bhu Bhuvasva.
what is that?
These are called Vyahritis. It's like there is Omkar.
Okay.
So these 2 sounds, they appeared from Brahma's mouth. One is Om and the other is Atha. Omkarasya sabdasya dvayeto brahmana pura kantham bhitva viniryato tena mangalika vibhav. These 2 are considered as very auspicious sounds. Therefore, you read all the sutras, they start with Atha. Atha Brahma Jigyasa, Atha Dharma Jigyasa, Atha Yoga Anusasanam. Yoga Sutra they also start with Atha. So Atha is auspicious like Om. And it is used at the beginning of some auspicious activities. So Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he comments here, he says Nyayadinam Purvadi Vaktra Kramena Utpatti Maha. So this 4 things which are Anvikshaki, Trayi, Varta and Dandaniti, they also came from the 4 mouths of Brahma in that order. In the front one Anvikshaki, then Trayi, Varta and Dandaniti. So these 4 things appeared from his 4 heads. And Anvikshakadya Moksha Dharma Kamartha Vidya. So he says that this Anvikshakadi, these are for Moksha, Dharma, Kama and Artha. So he is relating Anvikshaki to Moksha, Trayi to Dharma, and Varta to Kama and Dandiniti to Artha. Like that he's making reference. So there are 4 ashramas and 4 goals of life, and one is related to one. It's also related with the ashrama and also to the varnas. So Brahmana is more moksha oriented, Kshatriya is dharma oriented, Vaishya is kama, and Sudra is artha because he has to work. Then Bhur Bhuvaswariti Vyasta Stastra Samasta Chaturthi Etam Chatasra Vyahati. Bhur Bhuvaswa, these are the three Vyahritis, and the 4th one is when they are spoken together combined. So the 4 Vyahritis, usually you hear about 3. Yathaha Ashvalayana, as Ashvalayana says, Evam Vyahritaya Prokta Vyastaha Samastapi. In this way, Vyahritis are spoken individually and as a compound. Yadva Mahayati Chaturthi Tatha Chasruti. Some people's opinion is that The fourth one is not just a combination of these three, but Maha is the fourth one. So there is Bhur, Bhuva, Swa and Maha. These four are the Vyahritis. And then he gives a quote for this. Bhur, Bhuva, Swariti Va etat tisro Vyahritayas tasam uhasmai ta chaturthi mahachamasya pravedayate maheti. So that is basically saying that these four Hritasvata Hridayakasta Dvaharata iti pathe saivarta. So there are two readings here. In some books the reading is Hritasvata, which means from the sky of the heart, and another place the reading is Dharata, which also means Dahar. Dahar is the sky in the heart is called Dahar. That's where the soul and the super soul reside. So from there the Omkar sound came from Brahma's heart. Then he talks about the chandas. In the Vedas there are 7 chandas, meter. So these meters also came from his body. And from which part, which meter came, that has been described here. Says Tasya Ushnig Asid Lombhyo Gayatri cha Tvacho Vibho Trishtum Masasnuto Nushtu Jagati Asthana Prajapatehe Majjaya Panktirutpanna Brihiti Pranato Bhavat Sparshastaya Bhavajjiva Swaro Deha Udahritaha. So Ushnik is 1 meter and it came from the hair on his body. Ushnik Asid Lombha. From the hair came Ushnik.
Okay, what?
Ushnik.
Ushnik.
Somebody. Ushnik.
Never heard Ushnik? No?
Ushnik?
Yeah. If you go to German, you will hear words like this: snick, snack, snick, Ushnik.
Snack.
I don't think
Snack.
Germany more Russian like Puchnik. Sputnik.
In
Yeah,
German,
this type of thing.
in Germany also has words like this. No?
Schlange.
Puchnik. That is more Russian.
So these languages are related with old
Yeah.
Sanskrit. That's why you have such words,
Schnick, schnick.
right?
Snake.
Snick, snook, snake.
The sounds is nothing, yeah.
This type of sound you hear in German language. So Ushnik came from the hair, and Gayatri cha Tvacho. Gayatri came from the skin. From Brahma. And Trishtup Masha. And Trishtup is also 1 meter. That came from the meat, from the flesh.
Here it says muscle.
Muscle?
Yeah.
It says Masha. Masha is meat or flesh.
Flesh.
Muscle is also flesh.
In the Russian also Mesha, Masha. Related into
The skin.
means flesh. Yeah.
And Snuto Anushtup.
And the bone.
Then Anushtup Chanda came from the Snayu. Snayu is the word. What is the English for Snayu?
Veins, it says here. Veins.
Veins, yeah.
Vein.
These things.
Oh, yeah.
So Anushtup is the Chanda which we are reading now. These are all Anushtup. All these slokas are Anushtup Chanda. The meter. Yes. Bhagavad Gita, most of the slokas are in Anushtup. This is the most popular. So then Jagati came from the bones. This is 1 meter called Jagati, Asthana from the bones, Prajapati. Then Majja, Pankti. Majja is what called fat.
Marrow, it says here.
this is
marrow
in the
Marrow
bones.
is the
Marrow in the bones.
in the
in the
bones.
bones.
Mhm.
So from that came Pankti, 1 meter. Utpanna, then Brihati came from the prana, life air. This is Brihati Chanda. So these are the 7 chandas, 7 meters. These are used in the Vedas. In the Vedas there are only 7 meters. But if you see other like Puranas, Itihasas, or books written by poets like Kalidas, then there are hundreds of meters in that. So much variety of meters. And there is a whole book called Chanda Shastra, written by Pingala. And there's thousands of meters. They have their rules, how they have to be pronounced. But originally these are 7. Then sparsha tasya abhavat jiva swaro deha udarit. Sparsha, the letters from ka to ma are called sparsha letters. In Sanskrit, the alphabets are divided into 2 groups. First there are vowels, then there are consonants. And consonants are also divided in different groups. There are actually 3 sets. So first 25 consonants are called sparsha, and these 25 also are divided into 5 groups of 5 each, depending from where they are pronounced. There are gutturals which are pronounced from the throat, ka, kha, ga, gha, ma. From here is start. Then there are talavyas. Talavya is, what is the word for that? Not cerebral, not palatals. They come just above the teeth. Cha, cha, ja, jha, ya. 5. Then you have cerebrals.
Is that like the palate?
Mhm.
Yeah. Then cerebrals are from the top of the mouth. Ta. They are difficult to pronounce, especially for the Europeans.
But they sound language in Europe, they have it's also cerebral.
So you have ta, tha, da, dha, na.
In German it's not this.
It needs little power
English.
to pronounce it. So if you have to make some slokas about fighting or war, then you have to use this type of words. Because the alphabets also have their rasa. Whether your rasa is chivalrous or it is about love affair, then you use other la, da. These are for love. Love.
Is that like la di da?
Yeah.
Da.
Ma, pa, da.
So there are different combinations, and you can only use those ones if you're writing poetry in Sringaras. And then you have from the teeth, ta, tha, da, dha, na. And then finally you have from the lips, pa, pa, ba, bha, ma. So these are 25. These are called sparsha. They're called sparsha because when you pronounce them, and the tongue touches a particular part in the mouth. The vowels are those which are pronounced without the use of tongue. A, u, e, o, a, I. So tongue is not touching anywhere. That's why they are called vowels. This is the definition of a vowel. So the swaras are called jiva.
Jiva.
Yeah. And no, the sparshas. And swaras are called body from Brahma. So in Sanskrit there are 16 vowels and 25 plus 4 plus 4, 33 consonants. So 49 alphabets are there in Sanskrit.
Sibilants also.
They are coming next.
49. sounds.
There were 50.
Hmm?
I thought there were 50.
So there is not much commentary. This is a Chandasam Utpatti Maha Tasya Snuta Snayuta Sarvanga Chadkal Nadita Ityartha Anustupas Navam Iti Srute. Just explaining about the meters. Varnanam Utpatti Maha Sparsha iti Sardhena Kadi Varga Panchkam Sparsha Swara Karana. Saying that what is Sparsha and what is Swara. I already explained. Then he says next, Ushmana Indriyani Yahur Antasthabalam Atmani. Then there are sounds which are called Ushma sounds.
Heat.
They create heat. They are called Sha, Sha, Sa,
Ha.
Ha. So if you eat chili, then you do so your mouth is burning. So this is the Usma sound. So these are the senses of Brahma. Then there are also Antastha. There are 4 more sounds which are actually neither consonants nor vowels. They are in between.
Between.
They have the characteristic of both. Half vowel, half consonant. They are like what you have bisexual.
He calls
Neither
them
male nor
semi-vowels.
They are called semi-vowel or semi-consonant. They can be both. Because if it is semi-vowel, what is the other half?
Mm.
So the right name is Antastha, in between, intermediate. Anta means in between and Stha means staying. They stay in between. And they can also change to this way or that way. They have this characteristic. So these are the Ya, Ra, La, Va. And this is, he says, is the Balam Atmana. This is the Balam, strength.
So,
From Brahma.
So the Native Americans would call it
and there is one more
Mhm.
sound. One more sound.
Which one?
Ha.
The high goes with the Usmas.
Ushma.
Although high is not really Usma, but it goes along with that. Then there are 7 notes. In India we have Saregama Padhani, and in the West we have some Derelodo. What is that?
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do.
Yeah. So these are the 7 notes, Saptaswara. They also came from Brahma's body. How did they come? Swara Sapta Viharene Bhavanti Sma, by his walking. Modern science also says that human beings learn music when they heard themselves walking. And they try to also figure out how music came, because first there were monkeys and gorillas and apes.
Yes.
Then in South Africa, where in Africa, human being came. So they were, how the music came suddenly. They were not even speaking. So then they were walking.
Also, dancing is also possible. Walking. To walking.
Yeah, dance is different. Here we are talking about the notes.
Here it says playing.
Hmm?
The 7 musical notes arose from his playing.
Playing is same, dancing, walking. Vihar. So the 7 notes came out.
What a body.
Are these some also related to the chakras in the
Yeah, these are also related with the 7 chakras in the body.
Oh.
The notes?
Yeah.
Seems like all of this.
Oh.
So you can also do Nadi Yoga.
It's all 7.
Hmm.
Yes.
It's also related with the 7 types of bodies. There are 7 types of bodies.
It's also part of yoga, no? Is it?
Yeah.
It is a yoga, not
You mean the liar of the body? The
yoga.
liar of the soul?
That's Hatha yoga, no?
No, this is the yoga of sound, which is original.
And samadhi.
Nadi.
So this body of Brahma
No,
is
the-
just incredibly mysterious.
Yeah, it
Last
is
is
mysterious
Samadhi.
body.
Oh. Sorry.
Enlightenment.
Yes.
It is not ordinary body. See the
Subtle.
Sabda Brahma actually. This body is body made of sound. So therefore he says in the next verse, Shabda Brahmatmana stasya vyakta vyaktatmana paraha Brahma bhati vitto nana shakti brahmitaha. So his body is actually made from Shabda Brahma. There are 2 types of Brahman or reality. One is called Parabrahman, the absolute reality, that is Lord Sri Krishna. And then there is Shabda Brahma. And from that manifests this world. So the world manifests not directly from the Parabrahman, but through Shabda Brahman. So therefore in Bible also it is said that in the beginning there was Word.
Yeah.
And Word was with God.
Yeah.
Because Word is God. So Shabda Brahma and Parabrahma, originally they are one. Abhinnatvat nama namino. That the name and the Lord whose name it is are non-different. That's why we do kirtan, we do chanting of mantra, because the name and the Lord whose name it is, there is no difference. So name is the Shabda Brahma and he is the Parabrahma. And from the Shabda Brahma then this manifests. So Vyakta and Avyakta. Parabrahma is Avyakta, not manifest. This is manifest now. And it manifests through the Shabda.
So can it be said that when the sound is released by the Lord, then it becomes Shabda Brahma. And when it is contained within himself, it is Parabrahma. No. But
It's
anyway,
always Shabda Brahma.
okay, so but when the sound, once it is released by the Lord, it becomes like another entity. Then it is Shabda Brahma.
Because the sound also manifests then at 4 levels. The sound which we are now speaking, this is called Vakari sound. And before that there is Madhyama, Pashyanti and Para. So this Para is the Avyakta, unmanifest sound. It is not a sound which is created. It just exists by itself. You can hear it. That's why Vedas are said to be eternal, not created. There are 2 types of sound. The sound which you can create by hitting 2 things. That is called Ahata Nada. Ahat means to hit. In English you have hit, in Sanskrit you have hat. And you apply A before that with a prefix, it becomes Ahat, means hit by somebody. And then you might have heard the word Anahata Nada. Anahata means not hit. Sound which is produced without hitting. Like Jain masters sometimes say, you clap with one hand. The disciple goes to the Guru and he says, you come to me when you can clap with one hand. So how can you clap with one hand? Because clapping can be done only by 2. So there is Anahata Nada. This Om sound is Anahata Nada. This is the universal sound, which is the source of this universe. If you do this experiment which scientists are doing now in Switzerland, if they are really successful, then they will hear Om
Is it
from the,
something to do with the super collider or something else?
by colliding these atoms. And then Om sound should be produced from that. And that is the Anahatana. Of course, they are colliding, it should come without colliding. Because this is non-colliding sound.
It seems like they shouldn't be messing with that in a way.
Yeah, they cannot reach that. So this Anahatanada is the Avyakta, that is the Sabda Brahma actually. Vedas are also Sabda Brahma. Brahma is also like that. Therefore they can be approached through the mantra. That's why it is said that if you perfect a particular mantra, then you will see the deity of that mantra. And he becomes present in front of you. That's why Brahmanas had the power. Because this world is controlled by different gods. Varuna, Indra, Chandra, right? And these gods are controlled by mantra. Because they are subtle. And mantras are controlled by the Brahmanas. So Brahmanas can control. They are so powerful that if they chant the mantra, then he has to come. Even Vishnu has to appear in the sacrifice when this Brahmana chant mantra. He comes by the power of the mantra. So much power.
But the person has to be pure, no?
Of course, that's what I'm saying. You have to be perfected in that.
Divine Mother came when Swami. Divine Mother came when Swami called her for Navaracha in fire.
So this is the power of Shabda Brahma. So Shabda Brahma, Parabrahma on this side. It is like a link to Parabrahma and also to this side. Therefore only through the Shabda we can reach the Supreme. So it says Shabda Brahmatmanas tasya vyakta vyaktatmane para. That Shabda Brahmatmana tasya is Shabda Brahmatma. It is vyakta and avyakta, and from beyond that is the para. That is Parabrahma. Beyond all this. Brahma bhati vitto nana shakti Brahma. So Brahma, he is then manifest. Vitata means spread. Here. Nana shakti Brahmita. And various types of potencies, they are manifest. So there is the avyakta sound, that is called para. And then vyakta sound is called vakhari, which we speak from our mouth. So you can also communicate without speaking from the mouth.
So you mean mind to mind now?
Yeah. Silent communication. Silent dialogue. It sounds contradictory. In English they call it oxymoron. But it is possible.
Only amongst human.
No, you can also communicate with plants, birds, trees,
Everything.
anything.
Living beings.
Yes. You can communicate with anybody at that level.
And how it works.
Sabda Brahma. परमेश्वर स्फूर्त्याएव ब्रह्मणस् तेजस्वीत्वम् अधिकमित्याह. Says only because of the power of the Supreme Lord, Lord Brahma has the potency. Sabda Brahma Vedas Tanmaya eva Atma Deho Yasya Tasya. So he says Sabda Brahma means Veda, and this Veda is the very body of Brahma. Brahma is called Vedamaya. It's made of the Vedas. Yato Vyakta Vakri Avyakta Pranava. Vyakta sound is the Vakri sound which we speak from our mouth using this Sparsha, all these alphabets which were described earlier, vowels, Yara, Lava, Sasha, Shaha, all that. And Avyakta Pranava. Avyakta, unmanifest, is the Pranava. Tadatmane Stasya Brahmane Upasyatvena Para. And that Atma of that which is Brahma's worshipable, that is Para. That is the Parameshwara, the Supreme, Abhati. So he himself is existing here in all this form. Samyak Spurti. Yaeva Nirvishesha Suddha Jnana Gamyatvena Brahma Savishesha Suddha Jnana Gamyatvena Nana Shakti Brahmito Bhagavaniti Atastasya Kanyanugamnam Janya Malinyam Nastiti Sadhitam. So that has further two divisions. One is Nirvishesha Suddha Jnana Gamya, that is the Brahman, the qualityless, formless reality which is understood by Nirvishesha Jnana, or consciousness without any variety in it. And the other is Lord has various powers. He is called Bhagavan. And Bhagavan is Nana Shakti Brahma. So therefore he says that although earlier we read that Brahma, he ran after his own daughter, desirous to enjoy her, but
Saraswati.
yeah. But he says that now you should know that he does not have any impurities in him, because he is Shabda Brahma. That was happened just to teach us. But Kanya Anugamana Janya Malinyam Nasti iti Sadhikam. So it is shown that there is no defect or impurity in Brahma because of this going after his daughter, because he is Shabda Brahma.
So you can compare with us from
Compare with us?
I don't think so.
What do you mean?
but normally people do like this, they go out from themselves.
And you are saying we can compare or we cannot compare? I don't know what you are saying.
We cannot go from our purity, or not purity. He has his own purity.
I'm not clear what. Very clear?
Means we cannot compare our purity or impurity with
Yeah.
Yeah,
Brahma's purity.
of course we cannot.
Yeah, but people do this in general. This is so.
Oh, of
Think.
course, people can do anything.
Are you talking about abuse their own daughters now? Is that what you mean? Or I'm not with you.
I have a question.
I mean, people do this.
So since Shabda Brahma can never be contaminated, right?
No.
Yeah.
So
That's
and
interesting.
if Brahma's body is Shabda Brahma, he obviously cannot be contaminated. This is the
That is the meaning.
So then what does that daughter thing really, why is it there? Just as a, to teach a
I
lesson?
think just to teach a lesson.
So it's more or less can be called a leela? Or?
Yes. That even such people can have problems, so who we are.
This is the lesson to be understood from this.
Or even to also show that even he is not independent. The ultimate independent reality is Krishna. So you should not think that Brahma is supreme. That is the meaning.
So about this,
Where is it except sitting in the lotus?
What is that?
Brahma, I swear, is he except sitting in the lotus outside of, attached to Sri Vishnu's navel?
Yeah.
the sky which is the sky which is in the heart, where the Atma and the Paramatma they come in contact physically. No?
They don't come in
They
contact.
don't come in contact. It's like a space, like ether or something. Like
It's like you are in one room.
So when the Shabda Brahma sound manifests in the material world as Shaktis, that goes then from Sattva, Rajas, Tamas downward.
Yeah.
Okay.
And where does Prakriti come in here? Or
Yeah, Prakriti is the one which manifests the gross forms.
okay.
So we read also in the Brahma Samhita that this world is created by the glance of the Lord at Prakriti or Pradhan. Now how do these two things go together? The Shabda Brahman and Brahma creating the world, and
When he glances means he activates it.
he just sets it into motion.
Otherwise, Prakriti is in the balanced state. No action is happening.
So one,
So
once,
the meaning is that even when Brahma is creating, he is not creating independently. He is not independent. That's why he also said that I create because of your power. Srijami tab niyukto ham. Being empowered by, we already read that. Yes. So ultimately it is Vishnu, Krishna.
I'm just trying to grasp the chronology of the whole thing. That so Vishnu glances at Prakriti, gets it excited. So then when comes Brahma actually?
See, when Brahma is born, and then Brahma does austerities, then he sees the Lord, then he is empowered. So before that he glances at the material nature, which basically means that all the souls which were now lying from the previous kalpa, they are put back into Prakriti. And then Brahma starts creation after that. So that's why it is considered like impregnation. Allegorically, like a man impregnates a woman. So what happens that he puts the seed, and then the soul enters into that. So this glance is also considered like that. Or this form of Shiva, which is like a linga. So now linga is also considered as the organ of man, and there is Parvati, which is like the organ of a woman. So what it signifies is that all the form is made like that, but what it signifies that Shiva is like the organ for Krishna. Means through him the impregnation is done, just like man impregnates through his organ. If you say that so and so impregnated this woman, so how did he impregnate? Through his organ. So like that Vishnu impregnates Prakriti, but Vishnu does not contact Prakriti himself. So in between comes Shiva. Through him he impregnates. Therefore Shiva has a form of a linga to signify that. Now linga means penis, it also means a symbol. The word linga has both meanings. So therefore he is also worshipped because he is part of Vishnu for creation.
This is how Sri Krishna, Vasudeva and
Sankarshan.
Thank you. I mean, they were in prison apart, you know, when Sri Krishna came in to his mother's womb, you know. It's like that, yes?
Mm.
I mean, they didn't even need to touch each other. Sorry, I'm embarrassing myself here.
So the thing is that there is Krishna, who is absolute supreme person. There is material nature, things are happening. He has to control this. At the same time, he never contacts this. So how it has to be done, then there are in-between people. Beginning from, of course, his expansions as Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Anuruddha, and Mahavishnu, and Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, and then Shiva, and then Brahma. And then finally there are other who are directly dealing with him, the demigods. But even soul never contacts material energy, but to speak of him contacting. Even we are not contacting our body physically. Yet body is functioning because of my soul's presence in it. So how does this happen? There are also material nature. There is chitta, then there is ahankar, then there is manas, then buddhi, and then senses, and then physical gross body. So matter exists at gross level, then subtle, more subtle, more subtle, more subtle, then subtlest is Mahatattva. And that is very close to soul. It almost looks like as if it is spiritual, or as if it is soul. It's so subtle.
This is what they're really trying to find with the super collider, isn't it? Actually.
So then they can energize it. Because for something to contact another thing, it has to be of this same level, same wavelength.
So that's what Shiva is doing.
So that's what Shiva is doing. Shiva is like a link this side and also this side. So
And after Shiva comes Brahma.
So on one side we see Shiva as in tamas. On the other side he is Shambhu, who is almost like Krishna. So you interface. This side is Shambhu, this side is Shiva. So this side he is a pure Vaishnava completely. And here he is more like in charge of tamas. And he is doing all these things, blessing the demons and whatnot. And there he is just engaged in the kirtan of Krishna.
Like this semi vowel and this semi sound, something like that. Not this, not that.
So that's why this video which we saw that day was very nice. That Patnaik thing, when he was comparing the Eastern and Western, India and the West. So you see the whole this principle percolates into every life, everything in India. Take whatever, it's never just A and B, there is also something in between.
There's always an in-between.
Yeah.
And this is unity.
Now we saw one video.
So then so Shiva does that thing and then comes Brahma. He really manifests in material creation.
Yeah.
So then, and Devi, so when Shiva is in the tamasic
And Prakriti is,
aspect,
you see, Prakriti is the physical aspect, and the presiding deity is Devi. Prakriti.
and when he is in the Vaishnava aspect or whatever, then she is
Devotee.
then she is Parvati or
Sati.
Sati. That's just really interesting. That is like really the link. I have just one more little question, maybe in regards to the chandas. So the sutras like Purusha Sutra, they are all in what chanda?
It's always written there. It is not necessary that whole thing is in one chandas. Maybe that one mantra is in one chandas, other one is in another.
I just know about these 7 different styles of metric or what you say. They carry all different potency.
Yeah.
And this there's one that I cannot remember the name that you say, which is silent. Means there's a way of communication without sound.
No, chandas is not silent.
No?
These are 4 types of sound: parapashyanti, madhyama, and vakhari.
Okay,
Vakhari is which you speak.
we are using now.
Just like you have, now we are recording this. So this is recorded, and what is recorded, that is also sound, but can you hear that?
No.
And that is sound. Then to hear it, you need an instrument.
Okay.
So that is a manifest form of that. That is the unmanifest form. That is also sound, but it is unmanifest.
It means that we don't have the mean to hear it.
But if you know how to read the code and how to see the code there on this machine, you can also know it without using a player. If you have that knowledge. So that will be silent reading without playing it. Now we have to play it to hear what is inside.
So there's really speaking no silence in the creation.
Silence means not manifest sound. Otherwise, when you are not speaking, then also there is something going on in your head. Really, it's not silent. And even if you become completely silent, then anahat nad will be there. That's what we should get to hear that.
So then
So even name, Rupa Goswami says, Ata Sri Krishna Namadi na bhaved grahyam indriya. Sevan mukho hi jigvado swameva spuratyada. That the name etc. of Krishna cannot be pronounced with the senses. But when we desire to do service, then they become manifest by themselves without making any effort. So that is anahat. So that's why even a deer was able to pronounce. When Jad Bharat became, when King Bharat became deer and says that before he died he said Hari. So how he could say Hari? Because a deer cannot pronounce Hari. The tongue of a deer cannot pronounce the sound. So because the name itself became manifest, or Gajendra when he prayed. So how an elephant cannot speak?
or like Mahaprabhu who made the tigers and animals sing.
So that was manifesting by itself.
This is the greatest story ever told. I can't even think of how
Because
to
the sound is
formulate a
already
question.
there. The sound is already there.
It's there
Yeah.
everywhere. It's a question of becoming manifest.
So then by one's sadhana and endeavor and
You are becoming
bhakti,
qualified that it can become manifest in you. Not that you will make it manifest. It will manifest by itself. But it needs certain qualification for it to manifest. Some purification. So that's what sadhana means. It can manifest anywhere, but there is a certain obstacle which stops it, and that is what we call offense. So that is removed, then it will become manifest. It's like sun is always there in the sky, but now we don't see. Why? Because there is an obstacle.
It's more planet.
So it's not that we make the sun manifest. Some cloud comes, you cannot see the sun. So you remove it, you see it. It's already there. Something happens in front of my eyes and my glass is covered with dust, I cannot see. I remove the dust, I see. When I remove the dust, I am not making that object, it was already there.
So earlier in the class you were saying that God can be reached by sound, something to that effect.
Mm.
And then I was thinking, well, even in Gita, Krishna says, Bhakti ahama vichanati, I can be reached only by bhakti. So now these two things can be
But sound is also
connected.
bhakti. What is that bhakti? Sravanam,
Kirtan
Kirtan,
Bhakti.
Vishnu Smarana.
And also the purification